Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a quick Divine Feminine read for you, and I don't watch NFL football, but a lot of NFL football teams came up for some reason, so if you're betting on the game, you might want to listen. A lot of masculine stuff came up in this, so it actually felt more Divine Masculine than Feminine, but it is the Divine Feminine read. I did the sand art and the masculine read today, so you can look at that one if you want the sand art. And I'm going to get right into it. It is December 31st, 2018. It is New Year's. And this read was done at 3:11 p.m. today. For the feminine, the major arcana were Alchemy and Strength, which in the Syrian Starseed deck are Temperance and Strength. The card that was below the underlying energy was the Hangman, so that's not part of the actual read, but it's right there. It's information that I use. So the Hangman was there as well. There's 4 swords, 2 pentacles, 2 wands, and a cup for the feminine. Excuse me. The court cards were Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, Knight of Cups, Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, and Knight of Swords. So 3 knights are coming up here. What's today? The 31st. So tonight, the night of the 1st and the night of the 2nd. So that would end up on the 3rd. So if that means something to someone, usually 3 knights comes up to mark something. So anyway, 3 knights come up. Knight of Cups, Knight of Wands, Knight of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles for the feminine read. The coding and the numbers. The sequence 345 came up, as well as 38, which is the Queen of Cups, and the number 4221. The coding had to do with the Queen of Cups was in there, definitely, the Queen of Wands, and then the Knight of Swords were emphasized in the coding. The message was very interesting. It was like the masculine asking the Divine Feminine to either hang out for a night or for 38 nights, to wait for him, basically, because the Queen of Wands is out of control. I was getting a couple different definitions for this AC that was coming up here, which one of them was Antichrist circuit. So the Queen of Wands was being referenced as the Antichrist, but also just the circuit. She's on the circuit, so maybe she's, I don't know, any kind of circuit. Also, one affected with was coming up, so for the Queen of Wands. So someone affected with the Antichrist or the circuit. There may be a gambling issue that came up in the read as well, whether it's the masculine or the karmic. What else was coming up here? But anyway, the masculine asking the Divine Feminine to wait for him either a night or 38 nights or maybe 3 nights, since 3 nights came up as well, in order for him to take care of what he has to do with the Queen of Wands, and then says, "Oh, you Knight of Wands," the Divine Feminine being the Knight of Wands, the messenger of truth, okay? "Oh, you a new beginning." This is what was coming up from the Divine Masculine. Physical activity and relationship change. New beginnings. I owe you, Knight of Wands, new beginning. The codes that came up from putting it in online were the Syrian Starseed deck came up. Also, Sage's Reverie came up. Fate, Reforged, Meeting Art. And just some things that were prompted in that heading that caught my eye were 3 Thieves, Catastrophe, Magic, Gathering, and Theros. Okay, so if that means anything, and definitely there was Coven energy coming up again in the reads today, so there's definitely something like dark. It's obviously doesn't relate to everyone, but there's definitely one or a few people who are affected by that. Also, 78 whispers in my ear came up, and 78 is the 10 of Pentacles, so that's the family, you know, who has control because they have a lot of money. So the family who's whispering in the masculine's ear may be lying to him. For the feminine as well. Another heading that came up was number French. Hashtag on Twitter that there's nothing on TV tonight, which came up in the feminine read about TV stuff. So they're changing the lineups. And this was posted, it said 28 months ago. And 28 is the Two of Wands, or the twin flames. Madara Uchiha. The Uchiha clan was coming up, which we're talking about their intention with another who was their enemy, with an intention of peace. So coming together. And that was from Naturopedia. Another heading came up was David Bowie. Nothing has changed. And then another heading was Tales from the Colt. The Coilt. The Quilt. Okay, because it's quilt. Victoria and Albert Museum. So quilters are high equality bed covers and hangings. And hangings was referencing back to the coding. So there may be, it's referencing to Divine Feminine too, because that came up for me before, where the Divine Feminine's being called to put all the pieces of the quilt together. Okay, you have all that now. You have all the pieces now, so the quilt. So the coding had hang 38, which is the Queen of Cups. So it's now referencing to the quilting. Okay, for bed covers and hangings for the feminine. You have all the pieces of the puzzle now. Now, put your quilt together. Sew your quilt. Another heading was list of Fushigi, Yuji characters from Wiki. And Tama Home came up as a character. Ta-ma Home. So Ma was definitely coming in. Mother issues was coming in. And home. But it says Tama Home appears to be strongest of Suzuka or Suzaku warriors. Martial artists, armed and with or unarmed and with weapons, very good as a street fighter, and can channel their chi into energy blasts. And when emotionally motivated, able to use chi to increase his strength, speed, and reflexes in combat. So when his heart's involved, he becomes much stronger. And then life insurance safety rep came up again. I know somebody was said that they were looking when it came up last time. And the site that it came from was jobs2careers.com. And the last one was Peso.com, a community. And it just said everybody sing was the first two words. So everybody sing, and of course singing raises your vibration. So a good suggestion for New Year's Eve, okay? So we get right into the read for the feminine. Like I said, a lot of masculine stuff came up here. So whether it's the karmic masculine or the divine masculine, it seemed very divine masculine to me. Messenger of truth speaks for unhappy, burdened family in brain wars, right? So having a war within yourself, in your head. Hung out to dry. Working on blocks, framework, mainframe, to find satisfaction standing up for themselves, sticking it to the man or those with big egos. No shoes on, right calf may be stronger than left, or 3 greater than 2, a step up for the right, but the left is on solid ground, so the right being masculine, left is feminine. Magnetized up, so the energy, I'm showing the masculine getting magnetized up, but in the weeds, or someone getting high. A brown paper package, brown paper packages tied up with string was coming up again from you know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the name now. The Sound of Music. So I was getting brown paper packages, was tied up with strings. You know, these are a few of my favorite things. So someone literally gets their weed in a brown paper package, and that's someone saying that. But it's also that the masculine or the feminine, whoever this is coming from, is planning on tying themselves up in, or wants their divine feminine or masculine to tie themselves up in brown paper package tied up with string, because that's one of their favorite things. Someone sees themselves as a package, him or her, in a scrolled message. The divine masculine is awake but struggling with energies coming into his head. Like, so he might be feeling some of the stress from the energies coming in his head as opposed to his heart, maybe getting headaches. The Page of Cups talks to the Page of Wands about over-isolated hermit, Virgo, wise old man. Okay, so I was definitely getting this too as kids about their dad. And the wise old man, the old man, is not expressing their feelings about not working or being still and lazy or just plain stubborn, but at the same time radiating a glow. And then true love was coming up as the underlying energy, right? This is a romance of a lifetime, and the card beneath that was engagement, that this relationship is ascending to a higher level. Then camel boots, so it could be camel colored boots, but camel boots and desert were coming up, so definitely camels in the desert. And then Egyptian pyramids and clearing energies. So that's for the masculine and the feminine. Okay. So, betrayed in her corset, or alone on New Year's Eve, the Knight of Pentacles is off to another person, concerned, offering something healthy, maybe at the last minute, on their high horse, of course. A gift of an egg, dessert, and stockings, playing you to get their wish. A reunion lantern, fruit, fan, dessert, and toes to knees. Okay, so it could be toe to knee stockings. I didn't get that before. But also tofu is coming up here, or toe knee. Okay, so all these things could be involved with maybe a last minute an invite to a party or something, but it could be a masculine or your karmic masculine as well. Destiny, 3 Faces of Eve for dessert, so that's talking about the divine feminine. Dark brooding, mysterious fool, intellectually curious, likes to dress up and look good, taking care of body, health, and hood. Okay, so just the masculine seeing the different sides of the divine feminine. So the other underlying energy that came up is love partnership, and even more so, spiritual partnership, okay? So the double whammy coming up. The Empress is out as the ringleader. And here's where the sports stuff comes up, so pay attention, guys, if you're betting. Empress is out as ringleader. The Knight of Wands is masked man. Crystal Ball is depressing. She's got control. So Empress is the ringleader. She has control. The Knight of Wands is masked, but he's really fast. So the crystal ball is depressing. He is detoxing, letting go of the show. I'm also getting that the Empress, she's wearing his chastity belt. He's all in red and she's all in green, but she wears a red belt around her, which is low-waisted, which is like a chastity belt. So he's detoxing, letting go of the show. No Cowboys games or Green Bay Packers bets. So someone's betting. That could be a gambling issue, or it could just be something, you know, that they do casually. Or Colts, maybe Panthers or Broncos or Rams. 2 beady little red eyes staring him down, watching. Flames from above, Lions or Redskins. Can't get past watery veil. Dolphins protecting, coming in from the sidelines. Okay, so this was all coming up, having nothing to do with sports. So whatever you take from it, please do. Water suspended for coming out too soon. So someone's playing like Dolphins. I don't even know who's playing. I don't know who's in the lead or anything. But Dolphins were definitely coming up here. And water suspended, and that would be Dolphins, for coming out too soon. In the weeds now, shadow side and high noon. So all this energy is coming up. That the Dolphins were in the weeds now. And then shadow side, high noon, which would be like a face-off. Georgia Peach in the past. Connecting the rainbow by dropping the game and charms. Magnet too strong now. He's putting off alarms. And you may be noticing that too, that wherever you go, lights are always flickering and things like that. So, you know, don't forget, your energy is very high and it affects the things around you. Stuck in his head, kids have to drag him out of bed. Breaking old patterns of hanging out in his mind. Being still without thinking. No TV, no wine. True love coming just in time. Recently, sitting in uncomfortable emotions at home arguing, losing his patience of kids being lazy or high or motivation latent. The foundation for the feminine at Trinity, where he works, 2 clear blocks, could be the divine feminine as well, especially if you're divine feminine with a lot of masculine. He studies energies from all angles, is playing ball and learns levitation, or magnetizing money to get his new life and temper sexual frustration, true love passion, and new wife. Centrally, the Knight of Cups is a tidal wave of emotion, needing strength to release himself and stand before the ocean, breathing in a wave before he decides which path to take while holding left wand, divine feminine, as gate. The challenge for the feminine is the Queen of Wands drama, grounded one moment, then fighting others off like a mother, and kicking everyone out of the house. Or worried that the Queen of Pentacles, divine feminine, with epiphanies, won't be able to take on the Queen of Wands and his family. Negative past cover-up, walking right into the blast or the trap, immediate separation on a journey he is now at last. Now thinking meditation, possibly at the beach, sending IOU messages to the divine feminine, and thank you for creating a leak. Standing in truth, no matter what others say, even if they run away and hide. This is for the feminine too, okay? Always have to speak your truth, even if you think they're going to run away. Exposure at work of those left behind, breaking patterns, facades dropping, kind Queen of Wands exposed. And it was kind of like a sarcasm. So maybe she comes off kind, but she's got a really explosive, mean side too. So exposure at work of those left behind, breaking patterns, facades dropping, kind Queen of Wands exposed, possibly by children, or that exposing that she is a child, that she's, like an immature brat, that kind of thing. Her hogging all the positive energy with the children and making him do all the work, him being the heavy, then running away to end the battles, the kids, and then she does and says nothing and gets all the perks with them. So that's a common thread, okay? But that's coming up as the masculine, whether it's the karmic masculine or the divine masculine, saying that he's doing all the work and that the partner gets all the positive from the kids because she makes him be the heavy all the time. Queen of Cups, dysfunctional family or losing family money and connection. Epiphanies, explosive events, heartbreak, death, and transformation on journey to union through work. The King of Cups being father, Leo tackling the boar, hung up on toes, or as I've said before, the very first guide I ever connected with back in my 20s was called My Toes, because it came from my toes. So I was kind of getting that energy there. Hung up on my toes, knees, legs, twisted ankles, and more. Soon the truth of destiny of the King of Cups reversed. But the truth is, the Antichrist gambling circuit, one affected with drinking. So these are things coming up for the masculine, or it could be the karmic masculine as well. Again, Antichrist, gambling circuit, and one affected with drinking. The divine feminine is strong tiger with eye on the prize, or a tiger's eye. The Queen of Swords talks, oh, by the way, here, I have a little tiger's eye here. I don't know if you can see it. That was from my grandmother. She had a bunch of those little stones from a necklace that she had, I think. She passed away a long time ago. The Queen of Swords talks to commenters, to kids, messages, and news that flies, announcing to women and children to wake up their intuition. So for the feminine comes up heart-to-heart conversations and playfulness, to be light. Around her he works with crystal, sad for his loss, and it's 1919, which is the sun, stuck without peace, sinks make him feel lost. So just like the divine feminine went through when she started seeing sinks every day and trying to let go, but then being reminded constantly. So it makes you sad, right? So clear blocks of the Knight of Wands, mystery. So this is for the, it is for the divine feminine, okay? The divine feminine is to clear blocks around the Knight of Wands, being the mysterious man, dropping the facade and breaking patterns, new love with heartbreak. At work, being left behind, not knowing. Okay? So letting go of all these things. Okay? Not needing to know because you already know. The cards that came up for Divine Feminine was relationship change, physical activity, and new beginnings. And even more so, creativity, financial discipline, and change. Showing her muscle while others talk, rock, paper, scissors. Make a decision or walk. 5D messages sent out in a bubble. Injustice of inequitable distribution. Losing a lot to wake up someone. Sleeping Beauty, not messenger of truth. So it could be the karmic, who just was always just, lying around. It's just that the image of how the Divine Masculine's seeing them. Or it could be how the karmic masculine's seeing the Divine Feminine, if that's her. So the King of Pentacles is off on a mission. Or his heart, a mission of his heart, from the Batcave, hanging out, incomplete, the King of Swords, not in his truth. Opening his heart to be free and split, and now working to pay for it. So brain wars at the workplace, Leo or Sag working there. So whoever this is, whether it's the feminine, the masculine feminine, or it's just 2112. So the world and wisdom, the hangman. So brain wars at the workplace for the feminine or the divine masculine because there's a Leo or Sag working there that makes them uncomfortable, needing patience and love too, because he's challenged by, or she's challenged by, the Queen of Wands and the truth of running around, the Knight of Wands meditating messages back and forth to you in the Batcave. So this is about the masculine needing to come out to the Queen of Wands, or the feminine needing to come out to a Queen of Wands, that they've been sending 5D messages back and forth, the feminine and the masculine. So the Knight of Wands is coming up as the Divine Masculine, and the Knight of Swords is coming up as the Divine Feminine, because in the Syrian Starseed deck, the Knight of Swords is literally sending a bubble up to the 5D. Okay, and also the Knight of Swords is the messenger of truth. So anxiety, impatience, and dropping the ball. And that could be literally be somebody was going to a ball and decided not to go tonight. The workplace love offer, and trying to think of everyone. Queen of Wands, masculine thinking that the Queen of Wands has her hands in everything. So he's worried how to get out of this because she has her hands in everything. So whether it's that they're financially tied or that she just knows about all his business, whatever, and he's worried about leaks in some of his information, his personal information, or his ideas. Focusing on truth of messages, working with crystal, being more physically active for the feminine, and sending messages to the Divine Masculine's heart. Okay, so those were the messages for the feminine, and I will pull some cards for you guys. I'm just going to pull, I'm not going to do Ascension deck today because I did that for the masculine read. I'm just going to do Past Life and Journey of Love, and maybe an extra card for you. So from the Past Life deck, this is December 31st, 2018 for the Divine Feminines. What do they need to know? Today is December 31st, 2018 for the Divine Feminine, for everyone watching, and the best and highest good of all is concerned. What is it? Okay. Well, that works out. Perfect. Lessons and Blessings comes up. I'm going to take yours too. Lessons and Blessings were on the bottom of the deck. Okay, that's this one. With the watch, the old-fashioned watch, or it could be a stopwatch as well. But Lessons and Blessings from the past about time. Okay, and it came up too about not going to the ball, people getting impatient, when you're not ready in time and running around, and you have too many things to do at home, and there's kids involved, and trying to get out and get dressed and go somewhere nice. Sometimes it's just not worth it. Okay, so I'm getting Lessons and Blessings, and then the card underneath that is the Mother. Alright, so it's definitely about getting kids ready for bed, and yet trying to get out and do something for New Year's Eve. Is it really worth the time? But there may be something about the past too, having to do with, like Cinderella, and she turns into a pumpkin at midnight. I was just getting that message. That's something that you'll literally turn back into a pumpkin if you're not on time. The cards that came out for you guys, how beautiful is this? And 3 knights came out in the reading for you today. Love Life and Knighthood. Alright, so it's definitely about the knight in shining armor idea coming up, and to let go of that idea, because it wasn't the knight in shining armor in that spot. It was the Knight of Wands. So whether it's the knight in shining armor or the Knight of Wands coming to sweep you off your feet, because the Knight of Wands tends to be more passion, Knight of Swords tends to be more militaristic, or, you know, wanting to save your life, you know, in that way. Knight of Wands wants to, you know. So there's definitely red and the old, you know, knight in shining armor here. So that's definitely bringing up the Knight of Wands as well. But love life and knighthood, there's definitely a shield, a coat of armor, you know, the sword over the face, splitting. Maybe this is like showing you how to pull your energies together from the masculine and feminine to align yourself. The masculine is bringing up the discipline needed. To stay aligned. Maybe he missed his family. And, you know, the coat of arms is coming in here, so it's definitely the family lineage. So whether it's in the past and it's something you need to clear, he needs to clear, or just his concern because in past lives, maybe he lost his love because of the family. And there was definitely a past life that came up for me. From a read I did, actually. Not one that I remembered on my own, which I have seen my own past lives, but there's also a read that I got where there was definitely dissension as far as between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, where his family was very social and the divine feminine was very very spiritual and wanted to take care of the, you know, people who didn't have anything. And the family was very well to do, and they had certain social obligations, and so they always felt like I was getting in the way. And so they started sending him away to war more often to get him away from me. And then the last time he left, he didn't say goodbye to me because he was mad. He wasn't really mad at me, but he was mad at me for, you know, putting him between me and his family. And so he left and he didn't really say goodbye, and then he came home and he was no longer alive. And they just walked past me when they came back with his body. So some very sad moments there. So anyway, whatever needs to come up for you guys, the cards that came out, there's 2 extra cards that came out too. It wasn't really the main thing, but the health card came up, and then monk or nun. Okay, and health definitely was coming up in the reads today as far as being more physically active and taking care of your health. And definitely we have Kundalini health here as well with this snake rising. And carrots. I'm saying carrots come up. To eat carrots. And play with Play-Doh. Play with dough. So actually, you know, have fun with your food. That's what it's saying. Make a Kundalini out of your food, just to have fun with it with the kids, or just even to make, if you don't like cooking, to make it more fun for yourself. And it's showing, like, you know, put a carrot and then wrap a snake around it like the Kundalini. And make that a design on the bread, on the loaf of bread that you make. Make your own bread, because we know how bad bread is for us anyway. But with all the preservatives and all that other stuff it makes us, you know, it really messes up our bodies. And then monk or nun is about prayer, and it's about that chastity belt that the King of Wands has on the Empress at the games. All right, so now I'm saying, all right, this is medical, a doctor praying for the games. So maybe somebody's gambling here, but yeah. But also I'm showing this because I've said this before. This creates a circuit because you have your hand chakras there. So when you go into the prayer position, it keeps all of your energy within the circuit. Okay, it makes it more potent. But also to let go of those vows of celibacy, chastity, silence, all those things that a monk or a nun would do. And also the vow, for the doctors, do no harm. The point is, don't make promises to anyone except for yourself. Okay? You can't ever promise that you'll do no harm. Okay? You can always have good intentions. But the only true commitment you should have is to yourself and your connection with Source. Because you know things change. You can never promise anything. So from the, and then I never promised you a rose garden. That was coming up. A lot of that stuff is coming up. All the roses stuff. War of the Roses came up this week. I never promised you a rose garden. I never said this would be a bed of roses. All of that stuff. And roses are very high vibration. Alright, and then you just got roses in the card. Okay, so take another deep breath for Journey of Love this December 31st, New Year's Eve. Going into the first tomorrow of 2019. What is the energy? What does everyone need to know for everyone watching? And the best and highest good of all who's concerned. What is the advice from Spirit, the Masters, our guides? What do we need to know? Okay. On the bottom of the deck is Self-Initiation, number 12 is perfect because we are going from December of 12 into the new year 2019, which is 12. Okay, Self-Initiation. Okay. And it's really like a feminine. It could be a masculine too because there's waves. It looks like long hair, but it doesn't have to be. It could be part of the cyclone. And it's showing the person getting wrapped up in the energy of the cyclone, like they're almost into the vortex, but they're half in and half out, so they're really being like pulled back into the vortex. It's saying no fear. Oh, and I love this because the center of this card shows the outline, just like I saw the sun this morning, and I showed that in my other video, that the sun was like a ball of complete white, and then there was this really defined, beautiful yellow circle around it, and then diffused orange around that. The sun was just gorgeous this morning. But I'm getting that energy here too. And that's the sun coming up behind the storm. Okay, so don't worry. If you're half in and half out and you're almost in the eye, no worries. And the main card that came up for you guys is Shakti, which is also a lot of red. So both cards had a lot of red in them, and red was also a color that came up in the readings today. Shakti's number 19, it's the sun. So of course there's the red, oranges, and yellows, and a tiny bit of white in there, a little bit. But it's very soft and feminine, even though it's Shakti, which is the 1, 19 is a 1, and then 9 of compassion on the inside, 1 of the masculine, leadership, focus on the outside. But Shakti, you know, is the feminine. It's that masculine side of the feminine. And then this card was coming out too. That wasn't the Shakti was the prominent card, but this one was coming out too, so I let it come out for you guys. The Mother Prays. Okay. And this is energy very much of ET energy watching over us. It's 15 of the devil. But remember that 15 is a 6 of love, family, and community. It's the shadow side of us in our daily lives. And this kind of looks like a bug too. So it's like the bug bugging us, reminding us that the mother prays. This is why the mother prays. Prays for all her children. Because she knows they all have a shadow side. But she still loves them all. And I love that too. That's like from the, what's the movie? The Shed? The Shed? If you haven't seen that, I think it's called The Shed. Or something about a house that's like a shed. Maybe I'm using the wrong term. But it was a really beautiful movie that brings up a lot of lessons. About how God can't choose between his child that kills someone and his child that didn't kill someone. They're all his children, or her children. Alright, so I'm going to read those two to you. I'll read 15 first. Okay. The Mother Prays. You're being watched over. Many beings are aware of your existence. They know that your heart and your soul are pure, even when you may doubt it at times, because after all, you're a divine being masquerading as a decidedly fascinating mixture of light and darkness. Sometimes you may not feel so pure. That's okay. The Mother prays for you not because you're about to do something ridiculous and you might come to harm, but that you might not do something ridiculous and avoid living your full potential. She wraps you in waves of love, light, and consciousness that you may feel brave enough to live your life and not hold back from pursuing what is within your heart. Or really, letting it pursue you and giving into its seduction. The Mother prays, so fear not and just live your life. This oracle brings you guidance. Ask for help from the Divine Mother who loves you unconditionally. Ask each day. She wants to help you, and you have to ask for her help to empower her to do so. You have her great blessing. And the poem reads, I love you, holding your breath in my kiss, your heartbeat in my arms. Driving home, I could see you sitting beside me, not with my eyes, but I knew you were there. Your beautiful legs crossed, which came up in the read today. The twisted ankles was the feet crossed. Your beautiful legs crossed, your coat open and inviting. The soft scent of you brings a smile to my lips and to my heart because I know you are still there. And 19 is Shakti. Shakti is divine feminine fire. She is the body awakened with light. She is the divine feminine, and she is the Kundalini, the energetic force that moves through us, triggered by love that leads to enlightenment of our body. With our Kundalini coming alive within us, we cannot remain as we once were. It is impossible. We may try to lead the same lives, be the same in our relationship patterns, and perhaps even behave properly, but it simply cannot be done. Soon our disguise slips and people wonder, what happened to her, or what's gotten into him? We are on fire with the divine and we cannot help but misbehave. We are no longer satisfied with trying to be the good child or fearing we are the bad child. We know ourselves instead to be the divine child. The child divine lives fully and with passionate fire, not doing things the way they're supposed to be done perhaps, but living instead from the heart. Our body may ache as we burn through old pain, and sometimes the light within may seem so bright that it blinds us for the moment, but that will pass and the misbehaving will suddenly be seen for what it is. The old rules just don't fit anymore. You don't plug a globe capable of illuminating the whole world into the bedside reading lamp without burning down the house. Best to let that light shine as it was meant to, in the big arena. Shakti is making your light grow, beloved. Be prepared to shine brighter. This oracle brings you a message. You're going through energetic shifts in your subtle anatomy because your energy body and physical body have already begun to merge with each other. The energetic shifts will affect your physical body too. It is always wise to consult a healthcare practitioner, but at least some of your physical changes at the moment, from aches and pains to tiredness, are due to this energetic awakening. Take responsible action as you feel necessary, such as tending to your physical well-being with healthcare that feels supportive, but also remember to rest, get some time in nature, and nurture your body as it's spiritually awakening into greater light. Okay, so you guys all know this, all of the downloads coming in, and we feel them on a regular basis. They go in waves, okay? And they've softened up a little bit now, okay? We are really feeling it this past week. I have watched you hurting and felt helpless to make life better for you. Loving you is having to make choices to let you be who you are, who you become, and all the who's yet to come. To love you is to ride the waves of your passionate embrace of life, ever mindful of the change in the wind and the occasional tempest brewing. Loving you is having to make choices, knowing it isn't my fault. I can still choose to take it personally, or just be, while I listen and watch you unfold. Your heart is a beauty I will always love. It is the part of you that hasn't changed much over time. And when I lie beside you and hear you breathe, when I touch your skin or caress your hair, you are timeless, and I choose loving you. Okay. So really beautiful. Hope you guys have some nice plans tonight. I'm going to do one more card for you from the traditional Rider-Waite and see what comes up for you guys. The Divine Feminines out there, what do they need to know? The Divine Feminine Twin Flames, what do we need to know? Divine Feminine Twin Flames, what do we need to know? What do we need to know? Alright, for everyone watching, for the best and highest good of all is concerned, the Divine Feminine Twin Flames, this New Year's Eve going into 2019. What do we need to know? What is the message? That didn't want to come out, and this is it. Nothing else is coming. Okay. The bottom of the deck is the Death card reversed. Let's see what's under that. Okay, I'm going to go down a couple. One sec, they're sticking a little bit. Okay. so the three cards at the bottom of the deck are the Death card reversed, but also the Six of Wands is there and the Ace of Cups, okay? So, this energy is that there's an offer of love or new love to this Six of Wands coming in. But the Six of Wands person on the horse is either bumping into this new love, or the love is being presented to them and they're not quite ready for it because they haven't done their total transformation yet. Or they may just be really tired and they just got back up on their horse. All right, but it's definitely beautiful love energy of the Six of Wands meeting the Ace of Cups. Really beautiful. And it's Mary Magdalene is being emphasized in the Ace of Cups. And death. Oh, it's Jesus is paralleling this to the story I just told. Okay, that he wants the love, but he's been through a war and he's tired of fighting, so he just needs a little time to recover. Okay. The cards that came out for you guys, though. First card, 4141. That's a double Ace of Cups. True love on both sides. And 1-1, 11. Okay, the Hierophant. This is God, this is marriage. Okay? It's also Taurus energy. It's also the Pope energy. It's very peaceful. It's about making peace. You know, he has his two fingers up. The other card that came up is the Six of Swords. Okay, so this is all about finding peace. It's about going from more difficult waters, more turbulent waters, to peaceful waters. Maybe someone taking someone home, or going away on a peaceful trip. Somebody might be getting married. Definitely can be, I mean, it came up, engagement and true love came up, so there may be a little trip. Somebody also could be going to church to find some peace. And it's also about commitments and contracts, and someone's going away from that. Okay, so they're going away to find a more peaceful place, a more peaceful energy, away from commitments. But it definitely could be a marriage, but it's definitely about, I mean, it's beautiful energy. It's all about peace, floating away, taking care of business that needs to be taken care of, but finding peace, like resolution. It's like after the crescendo, right, the peak, and there's a, what's the word for it? You know, at the end of the story, after you reach the peak, you slowly come down from that. That's the energy that I'm getting. Okay, so it's 44 again. So make sure you drink your water, get your rest. Be careful when you go out tonight, but have a great time if you do. Don't drink too much. And rise and be loved, guys. Have an amazing time. Bye. Sorry about that. I forgot to show you the picture of the reed. So here's the reed. Make sure you get all of it. I know there's a little glare on that, but I think that you got all of it in there. Okay. Bye, guys.